Hey everyone, Brandon here, and today we're going to talk all about the 9-word email process. Now you're going to see on your screen right now a diagram of what the whole process looks like. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this blueprint so that you can have access to this, as well as the email swipes that I'm going to share with you. You're going to have everything that you need to literally walk through this exact process and start to implement this into your business. Now, this does not matter if you have a list or if you don't have a list. We're going to go through both aspects and how you can start to get a lot more sales, because right now in today's world, let's be honest, okay, there's some things that people are getting hip to. They know that they're getting put into marketing funnels. People are understanding more about automation, and they just don't want to feel like they're responding to a robot. Okay, so a lot of the times what happens is the leads that you pull in, the people who are on your list, they're so used to being pitched by everybody else, go click here, that there's really no human interaction. It's almost like, okay, every email is to point them to another platform so that they could get retargeted and pixeled or whatever it may be, right? Or make a sale. And so when you have that routine built into a lot of these people who are going to join your list, when you could separate yourself from those 900 and 99% everybody else, then what happens is you're going to be able to get human interaction, and then you're going to be able to have a higher chance at closing that prospect. So the point of this is to actually get a human reply, right? You want to be able to reply to this. This is somewhat not automated, meaning that there are portions of this that must be done by you manually. And the reward is well worth it. It takes 30 seconds to reply to an email, especially with what I'm going to show you today. So there's no thinking about what to say. I'm going to give you everything that you need. So let's get right into it. What we have here is the process. So we're going to start with offering a bribe. If you have a list right now, and that list is, say, came in from a specific giveaway, okay, so a specific offer already, then what we would want to do is start with offering them something related to that original piece of information they opted in for. So if you are, as an example, helping, you're a consultant, because we're going to use an example today as a consultant. So let's say that if you're a consultant and you've been able to, you're like an HR consultant, right? And let's say that you've already generated leads from people who are interested in HR culture and retention and things like that. So you already have a list of these people. All you would do is you would just create a bribe, right? A checklist, something like that, that would be able to give them some more information. And then you just want to send them an email that's going to say, hey, are you interested in this? We're going to go through this step by step, okay? So I'm just giving you a brief overview of what we're going to cover. Then what we want to do is the next step is going to be able to actually send the bribe. And then after we deliver the bribe, then we want to follow with the 9-word email. Now, the 9-word email is going to be at the point now where we are going to have humanized interaction. So we can automate step 1, step 2, and step 3. We can automate that whole thing. But after that, now it becomes you responding to these people, because I'm going to be very clear about this. The point of the 9-word email process is to find 5-star prospects that you're going to be able to close into your product or into your whatever it is that you're selling, okay? Now, I'm going to go into exactly what qualifications are a part of being that 5-star prospect in just a second. So stick with me. I wanted to share with you this map real quick, because this is going to be what we're going over in detail. After they make the decision to respond to the 9-word email, we start to ask sorting questions. If they decide to respond to the sorting questions, we then, without actually, giving us what we're looking for, which is called the love letter, which I'm going to get to in a minute, then we want to ask digging questions. If they make the decision to actually meet with us, then we move them on to the next steps, which I'm going to share with you. If they at all ever don't engage or tell us to, very nicely or kindly stop emailing them, then we just stop. Okay, and I'm going to go through exactly how to identify these 5-star prospects so that you can spend less time with the people who are going to say no and spend a lot more time with people who are going to be saying yes. Now, we've seen this work incredibly. So let's get into the process now that you've seen the layout. What we have here is step 1 is going to be the bribe. So let's say that you want to use this technique to get high-end consulting clients who will pay you to fix their employee turnover rate. Well, you know that you have people who are on your list who are interested in that result, like we mentioned, but you just don't know who they are. So if you don't have a list yet, then you would just use that bribe as a lead magnet, okay? And you would start to create your list that way, run some paid ads to it, start to promote it on social media, start to do the things that you need to drive traffic to that giveaway, following the lessons inside of the traffic and lead generation modules here inside the Academy. And so when you start to get leads into that process, right, from that giveaway, then you just go right on to you're delivering the bribe, which is going to be you immediately sending that first email out as soon as they opt in to receive it, to just send them what they said they wanted. And so you're going to start right from there. So it doesn't matter if you have a list or not, okay? But first we need to find out who's interested, right? And so we'll start by offering a free report, video, or whatever it is on how to fix turnover. We'd want to be very specific, okay? Because we're only wanting to attract 5-star prospects who are specifically interested in the outcome that you can provide. So if your ideal client is an HR manager who wants to stop employee turnover, then the report should be something like, the HR manager's guide to stopping employee turnover. It's pretty simple, and you want to be able to. So now we want to be able to, offer that to the list, okay, or create an ad to generate the leads as a means to see who's really interested. Now it's pretty easy, and then after that we'll just send them a report if they requested it, okay, and that's going to show that they're interested. So the email that you're going to send them can be very simple, okay, just like this. Subject line, if this were the case, employee turnover, right? If you're an HR manager and you're worried about high turnover, this free guide will help you, okay? And as you can see, I'm just going over this right now. I just got done creating this for you guys. I'm going to put this inside of the resources part so that you have a exact copy of everything. Okay, this entire 9-word email swipe is going to be yours, and you can start to implement this today. Copy and swipe this thing immediately, okay? It works wonders. And so from here, we would just say, okay, if you're an HR manager and you're worried about high turnover, this free guide will help you. It's all about how to reduce employee turnover in 2017, and you can get it here no charge. Now, again, you can move this around to whatever industry that you're going after. It does not have to be this exact industry. And then you just sign off with your name. Could also be something like this: subject line important, and then the question, did employee turnover hurt your bottom line last year? And then my research has found 3 emerging threats to employee retention for 2017, as well as 6 ways to reduce turnover very quickly. I've compiled this research for you in a free brief called the HR Manager's Guide to Stopping Employee Turnover. And you can download it here. Enjoy. And then you sign off with your name. And you can see it's pretty simple. And so what we want here is for people to opt into this report. Okay, it's nothing fancy. So the links in that first email would drive them to an opt-in page. Super basic, right? So then we would just deliver the bribe. So the first email in the autoresponder that you would have set up, right? The first email that they would get would be title of bribe inside the subject line. So let's say that it was the guide or whatever it was that we were talking here, the HR Manager's Guide to Employee Turnover. That's what would be inside the subject line. We would have their first name auto-populated inside there. And then we would again say you can download the report or whatever it was, guide, right? It would be guide, report, whatever it is. Then you insert the title again. And then in it you're going to discover, list 3 benefits or more. And then you're going to want to let it know right here. You can say, I know you're busy, so I kept it concise. If you have any questions or need any help, feel free to email me. I'm here for you. Thanks so much, and I hope you find this helpful. You sign off with your name. Literally, all we're doing here is being cool and giving them what they said they wanted. Okay? Now, step 3, we're going to go on to beginning the 5-star prospect identification process. Now, from here, we have 5-star qualifications. People have to be willing to engage. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is to be cooperative. Number 3 is they must know what they want. Number 4 is they must know when they want it. And number 5 is they're going to want help from you. Now, once we have identified the people on your list who match those qualifications, I'm telling you, you're going to see a very huge increase in the amount of calls that you're setting, appointments that you're getting, and sales that you're making. So from here, what we're going to do is the next email that we're going to write to them is going to be RE in front, right? Because we want to make it look like it's responding to a thread, to a email from previous engagement. And so we say RE, and then you just engage, or again, put the title of the bribe, okay? And then we say, hi name, how many employees do you have, right? It's one question that we can write to them. So the point of this is to think about it like this. If you walked into your office or your home office or wherever it is that you do business, and you walked in the next morning or one morning and you found out that you looked at your stats and you found out that you had X amount of people that went and downloaded your offer, right? Your giveaway. What would you email them to follow up with? Like, what would you if you were just like talking to one person, you just walked in and you say, hey, okay, well, yeah, this person downloaded or was interested in my offer. Cool. What would you email them? Okay. And so here, that's what we want to make it look like. So we ask them, how many employees do you have? And then you sign off with your name. Now, before that's a piece. That's the first piece of that second email. Now, what we want to do is if they meet our next piece of being friendly and cooperative, right? They have to be cooperative. They can't be an asinine. and ask and respond with, negative or negativity or anything like that. Once they start doing like that, you just stop emailing them. But if they respond friendly and cooperative, then we want to actually start to have that email conversation. So you want to make sure that question is personal. You want to make sure it's relevant. Okay. You want to make sure it's short, and you want to be expecting a reply. As you can see that I use their name and ask about a specific problem, right? So hi, name, and then how many employees do you have? That's a specific problem. And then it's relevant. It's the size of their team, right? So it is relevant to the size, to the subject matter, employee turnover. And then we keep it short, one question, and then we want to expect a reply. Now here's some more examples for you. You could, did you have a lot of turnover last year? Has turnover been an issue for a while, or is it relatively a new problem? So next, you want to paste the original email, the original download email, so it looks like part of the email thread. So now the email would look like this, okay? So the email now would look like this. It would start with the subject line of the title of the bribe. This is still the second email, okay? You have the first part that I just shared with you, which is how many employees do you have, right? So their first name, the question, your sign off, and then what we do is we copy and paste, basically to make it look like your previous email this response is in response to your previous email. This way, it gives that added benefit of being a human response. Now you can automate this part as well. If you have a up to this point is where you can actually automate this. All you have to do is merge your fields inside of your autoresponder and create a custom field that will apply yesterday's date, will apply your name, and then your email, and then we just write it just like this, merging those fields together. And then we have this set up to where it's your email merged, yesterday's dates merged, and it's going to have contacts email address and their name merged, and then it's going to have the subject of the title, and then this is going to be the exact same email that you first sent out. You're just going to copy and paste everything over to that. So now your email would look exactly like this. This is exactly what it would look like, okay? And then what's going to happen is they're going to be more open to responding to this. It looks very personal, okay? And then what's going to happen next is step 4 is you're going to want to go through your sorting questions. So at this phase, they've actually responded to your question with an intelligent answer. We're not spending much time with people who are, like I said, coming back with things that are going to be negative or just, asinine. So we know that they're willing to engage and they're friendly and cooperative. Now it's time to see if they know what they want. This is a real reply from one human to another, right? From one human to another. It will take you to manually do this. It's not automated. Using the example above, let's say that they responded with, okay, well, we have 150 people on our team, right? Because the question was, again, how many employees do you have, right? And if they come back with, oh, well, we have 150 people on our team. Okay, well, we don't want to pitch yet. We need to create a dialogue. We need to create some conversation. So you could reply with, 150 people is a big responsibility. I bet you've worked some long hours managing a team that big. All we did there, okay, imagine, all we did there was just demonstrate that we're not some robot, okay? All we did was just demonstrate we're not some robot. Now it's time for the sorting question. Are you looking to retain your current team members or recruit new team members, okay? Another example, if you were dealing with like weight loss, you might ask, are you looking to burn muscle, or build muscle or burn fat, right? Now what we're gonna be waiting for is what we call the love letter. So again, you're gonna be having it all in one email. It's gonna say, when they reply with, hey, we have 150 people on our team. Okay, you reply with, 150 people is a big responsibility. I bet that you've worked some long hours managing a team that big. Are you looking to retain your current team members, or are you looking to recruit new team members, right? And now you sign off, and now you're gonna expect what we call the love letter. Okay, this is where they tell you everything about what's going on. Sometimes this happens right after the sorting questions, but they'll typically reply with 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, that's how you can know it's a love letter in great detail. And there's one thing that you got to understand, though. It usually takes a little bit of back and forth before you get to love letter. So typically they're going to respond back and they're going to give you some brief answers. And in that case, you really want to, you have to move on to the next phase, which is digging. Okay, so the example would be, let's say your sorting question, was, are you looking to retain your current team members or recruit new team members, right? Or maybe both. Let's say that they reply with, we're mainly looking to retain uh, we're mainly looking to retain our current team members. And, as you can tell, that's not a love letter, okay? That's one sentence, and a lot of the reason why that is because they're so used to being put into automated sequences that they still don't even know if this is real or not. And so when we start to build that dialogue, it then gets them to open up, and the close becomes so much easier. And you're going to see exactly what I mean. But that's still not a love letter. So we need to keep digging. So we would say something that would indicate we have read and considered their answer, okay? We got to say something back that would indicate that we have read and considered their answer. And then we would ask another question. So it would sound like this. That's good because retaining current members can be a lot easier, a lot more effective, and certainly cheaper than going out and recruiting new team members. What issues do you think are behind your current turnover problem now? Now, the question about what issues are causing the turnover is a digging question. As long as they respond friendly and cooperative, you continue to ask digging questions. The next steps now are that the way that you word this next part will matter mostly on what you're selling, okay? Let's continue with the example above. In order to close the deal, in the example above, you're going to need to get them to close them on a phone call, okay? But you have to make sure that you're only dealing with 5-star prospects. Well, there's only 2 sets of criteria left to identify inside of a 5-star prospect, which are, do they know when they want it, and would they like your help? So to find that out, we need to invite them to the next steps. So we simply reply to the love letter. Well, let's say that they are, the italicized is them speaking back to us. So this is their love letter back to us. They reply back with, well, last year we lost 3 of our top executives. This led to major cultural shift and morale is at an all-time low. So we're looking at replacing most of our team and starting from scratch, and or creating some kind of culture where people are happier and more productive. So I think the answer to your question is we need both. But we are hesitant to really do anything until we have a solid culture in place and this cycle won't keep repeating itself. So you won't now again, that's their response back to you. Okay, now what do we want to do is we want to make sure that we have our next step in place. And that's going to be to invite them to having a conversation, because that's what our end goal is. We're going to go through another couple examples in case you're not sending people to a phone call. And the only reason why you would need to do that is if you're selling a high-end product, okay? Something over $1,000 or $2,000. Then you can, I'd say even more than $2,000. You could sell $1,000 on automation. But if you were to sell more than $2,000 product, then it would be most likely required to get on the phone and start to really close these people. You'll see a very large increase in your sales if you're not doing it already. So now that you might have that you might want to invite that prospect to have a conversation by replying with something like this. Well, I agree with you 100% in that it's a smart idea, that it's smart to build a solid culture before recruiting any new team members. Would you like me to help you with this? Or would you like me to help with this? It's such a powerful question, because people are going to go, wow, yeah, absolutely. What's the catch? Typically, I get that a lot. What's the catch, or how much does it cost? And then you say absolutely nothing. You say I'd be happy to brainstorm. This is all in the same email. I'd be happy to brainstorm some ideas with you if you'd like. I can talk next Monday at 3 p.m. or tomorrow at 5. Do you think that would be helpful? That's it. Now, from that point on, the prospect can make their appointment or schedule their conversation. And because the fact that you've identified her, or you've identified them as a 5-star prospect, your chances of closing the deal have significantly increased. Okay, so now if you're selling, say, a webinar, and you're not doing a one-on-one call, or you're selling in some kind of group environment, then you would lead with the same exact thing, except the only thing that you would change would be that I agree with you 100%, and it's smart to build a solid team culture before recruiting any team members. Would you like me to help with this? I'd be happy to. I'm having a brainstorming session. I'm having a brainstorming session about this very next topic, or about this very topic next Thursday for a small group of HR managers just like you. Would you like to come? Okay, you're not going to call it a webinar. You're not going to call it a web class. You're not going to call it a workshop. You're not going to call it any of that. You're just going to call it a brainstorming session. Just going to say, hey, I'm having a brainstorming session about this very same topic next Thursday for a small group of HR managers, right? Just like you. So when you have that, you invite them. Would you like to come? You don't send the link. You just ask them, would you like to come? Okay. Now, you could even use this to send to your 5-star prospects a pre-recorded video sales letter. Okay. So not only could you do it to a one-on-one call up here and a webinar or group setting, But you could also do it to a pre-recorded video sales letter, okay? So just the only thing that you would change would be down here that would say, okay, would you like help with this? Well, I've created a 30-minute video training and it walks you through some very effective strategies to shift your team's culture in as little as 3 days. I'd be happy to give it to you. Would you like me to send it over? Very, very easy going. It's not pushy. We're just going to get into it and we're just going to share with them that, hey, look, this is what we've done and this, would you like me to send it over? If they've replied and they would, in fact, like to watch it, then we just send it over. If they were to watch it and not purchase, then you could follow up with a friendly dialogue. And it would sound something like this. It would sound something like, it looks like you watched my video. Did you find it helpful? If they reply with something favorable, we can reply then again with, I'm happy to hear that. Would you like me to set aside a copy of insert your name of your product for you? That's it. And then they're going to go with yes or no. So that's it right there, okay? Now, I've left a copy of this, like I said, inside the resources file. And this should help you guys now see how simple it could be to just automate the first, say, portion, 50% of the process, and then start to just get that human interaction. So now you're actually meshing the two. You're going to get a huge response rate from this. I promise you. We were able to get cold traffic to go through a process like this, and it has been amazing. We were able to get about a meeting set a day for a client of ours. We got another client that just did this, set up 15 responses, got himself, I think, 3 meetings within, I think it was 24 hours. So like I said, let's get to this and start to deploy this and then share your results with the group or with me personally. I love to hear about this and then move on to the next training video. Okay? So start to deploy this, take this, start to put this into your everyday routine. And I'll see you on the next training video.